Hi everyone, good evening. It is Monday evening. It is about 5:45. It is very, very cold where I live, going into probably one of the coldest days of the year tomorrow. I know a portion of the country's in that polar vortex and I fall into that, so I have just been trying to avoid going outdoors, just staying warm inside. I know lots of people are having trouble with cars starting and things like that. Also thinking of wildlife when it gets this cold, and hoping that this passes quickly. Anywho, tonight I'm going to talk about Christmas Cookie by Yankee and Holiday Cookies by Kringle. So this is going to be two reviews in one, in addition sort of a comparison of the two, since they're both, essentially meant to be an identical fragrance. I mean, not necessarily with the notes, but obviously they're both meant to mimic sugar cookies, right? So with Kringle's Holiday Cookies, I tried to find the notes for this on the website, but Holiday Cookies is actually no longer available on Kringle's website. So I don't know if they are retiring it permanently or if they're just retiring it for the year, but I could not find it on Kringle's website. So the notes I had to pull from another, like a reseller, and it gives some of the notes, but it doesn't give a breakdown of the top, mid, and base notes. So unfortunately that will be missing from this review. I have Yankee's notes pulled up for Christmas Cookies. And then in addition, this will also be a comparison of Christmas Cookies now compared to Christmas Cookie back in the day. And the reason that I'm able to do that is because over the holidays, I went down to visit my mom and dad. And my mom happened to have, I found in one of her cabinets, a very old Yankee Candle Christmas cookie. Actually one of the black band labels, so truly a vintage Yankee Candle. And it still had fragrance. So I went ahead and lit that on Christmas Eve to see if we could, if that candle still had fragrance. And then really to do a comparison, because I knew that I would come home and probably within the next several weeks burn the Christmas cookie I had, which I had just bought from the outlet. So I wanted to be able to do a comparison. So I have a little bit to chat about with that, as far as if I think the fragrance is the same, and then quality. But keep in mind that the candle that I burned at my mom's house is probably 20 to 25 years old. So obviously it would make sense that it would be losing some of its fragrance, or that the fragrance would change slightly. However, I do feel like I can speak to strength and throat to some degree, because spoiler, it was actually better than this brand new Christmas cookie candle. So we're going to chat about that here in just a second. I have a little bit of a cold going on, so I apologize if I'm kind of nasally. I might be sipping my tea because I have a bit of a sore throat as well, so to try and not lose my voice. So I'm going to take a sip of tea right now. Okay, so let's start out with Christmas Cookie. So first of all, in terms of burn quality, I just lit this again for the purpose of the review, so it isn't fully pulled out. However, I've had no issues with the wax pool. It's been even, it's been fairly deep, it's been consistent. You can see that there is a fair amount, quite a heavy amount of sooting actually around the jar. However, I really did not trim the wicks down very low because I get a little bit worried about that with this type of wax. I've had some problems with, I've had lots of problems with scent throw in general, but I found that if you trim the wicks too short and you don't get a good flame going, the wax pool sometimes doesn't get super deep. It stays pretty shallow, and then there's almost no scent throw. So I went ahead and almost left the wicks the way that they were. I just took a little tiny bit off the top. So that sooting is probably because at various times while burning the candle, I did have some pretty big flames going. But it is what it is, right? I'd rather have a decent wax pool than, no soot. So in terms of the fragrance itself, let me read the notes. I I have them on my laptop here. Okay, this is a sweet and spicy fragrance, buttery rich, vanilla scented holiday sugar cookies. Top notes of creamy vanilla bean, mid notes of nutmeg, cinnamon, and sugar, and base notes of vanilla, butter, and bake notes. So this is one of Yankee's original fragrances. I cannot tell you the exact year that this came out. I'm sure there is a Yankee candle connoisseur here on YouTube that could probably give you an exact date. I maybe knew at one point, but I don't remember. So I'm not sure when this was first released, but it has been around a long time. It's not been retired. It continues to come out for the holidays every year. And I see why. It's just a very classic, good fragrance, right? It's a good recipe in terms of the fragrance notes. You're not going to go wrong with vanilla and sugar and butter and bakery, right? Those are good things. So I think it's a recipe that stood the test of time because it's just so classic. And so it keeps coming back every year. And I would say I've purchased this probably 4 times maybe in my lifetime. Now I've had this in pretty much every form that it's come out in. So I've had it in wax, like their wax tarts that they used to have. I've had it in milk cups, certainly candle form. I don't know if I've ever had it in the wax melts or not, like the little cube, like the circular, I guess they're not cubes, like the little circular wax melts that they have now. I'm not sure if I've had it in that format, but I've had it in wax tarts, milk cups, and then candle form, including the original large jar form. So this is the 2-wick tumbler that I'm burning right now. And I've enjoyed it. Every time I've burned or melted, I've enjoyed the fragrance itself. How does it really stand up to the bakery fragrances that are available today on the market? It's basic, right? I would say that in vendor wax, I've had far better sugar cookie fragrances. I would say even Better Homes and Gardens, which is a Walmart wax brand, they came out with a vanilla cookie crunch many years ago, and I would say that is probably better than this and reminds me more of a sugar cookie. But this is not bad. What I would say it lacks to some degree is a nice, deep, buttery bakery. It's in here. I don't want to say it's not in here, but I really get more of the vanilla than I do anything else. So it's like a vanilla candle, a beautiful vanilla with just like a more of a hint of bakery and butter. Whereas I think it could have more even amounts of each of those oils. But it's not bad at all. It's beautiful. Now, the issue that I had is that with this candle is the issue that I continue to have with Yankee candles, and that is scent throw. It was poor. It was inconsistent. I would say there were times where I maybe got up to about maybe a 5 or a 6, but most of the time it just kind of sat at a 2 or 3. Now, that's really better than the past several candles that I've burned from Yankee, where I've gotten maybe 0 to 1 in terms of scent throw. This was not a candle that I had to hover my nose over the candle to get fragrance, but I had to be pretty close by it while it was sitting on the table, and it was light. So that was a disappointment. I ended up complementing this candle with vendor wax, with I think I had some gingerbread vendor wax or some other bakery vendor wax, maybe like eggnog cookies or something. I think I put in the wax melt warmers while I had this burning, in hopes that it would just, in total, I would get a pretty decent strength of the fragrances combined. And that worked out well, but on its own, it really just is not providing much. I'm going to take another sip of my tea here because I can feel my throat kind of starting to dry up a little bit. Okay. Now let me chat about the Black Band, the vintage Black Band Christmas cookie. I should have brought that with me, and I totally forgot about it by the time Christmas Day came around. Because I thought about bringing it just to feature it in this video, but I forgot, so that is what it is. Now, the candle that my mom had, obviously 20 to 25 years old, she does not burn candles the way I burn candles. I light a candle and usually that candle is finished within a few days. That's how I burn candles. She will burn a candle, like maybe on a holiday or every other holiday, for over a period of 25 years, for a few hours over a period of 25 years. So it was about 2/3 of the way down, maybe a little bit less. It definitely had some tunneling. It was a medium jar, a medium apothecary jar. It had some tunneling, and that's most likely because she was not really following the recommended burn times. I'm sure she was lighting it for maybe an hour or so and then blowing it out. So it really didn't even have the opportunity to get in a wax pool, a deep, consistent wax pool. Although sometimes with those paraffins, it doesn't matter how long you burn it for, you're not going to get that wax pool. But what I will say is upon lighting it, within about 30 minutes, there was noticeable room-filling fragrance, even after 25 years, which the wax community would consider that ASS wax. I don't want to say the bad word on camera, but ASS wax, just basically it's old, it doesn't have fragrance anymore, it's too old. Well, 25 years was clearly not too old for the Yankee candle, because it still had fragrance, and it had more fragrance in that 25-year-old candle that I am getting I've gotten within the past week from burning this brand new Christmas cookie from Yankee Candle with the new label. So right there, that really reaffirms that I did not build up Yankee to be something it wasn't back then, just because it was one of the only candle companies in existence. It really was better. It was better back in the day. I think it's pretty clear that they were using more fragrance oils, and they've significantly cut down on how much fragrance oil they put in the candles now. And I don't really understand the reasoning behind that. I mean, I'm assuming it's probably to cut costs of production, so that they can profit better. I know that, in the world that we live in right now, in this economy with inflation, I'm sure it's more expensive for them as a brand to produce, to put out product. But there has to be a better way than cutting down on the fragrance oils, because I don't understand how a candle company that literally their catchphrase was, what was it, the world's best scented candle or most scented candle, something like that is what their catchphrase used to be. I just don't understand how that could be something that you built your company on, and that's something that you decide to cut, that you decide to take a risk on eliminating. It's sad. These candles are underperforming because Yankee is not using the fragrance oils that they were before. And I just don't know what to say about that. I made it sort of a little promise to myself here in the new year that I would not be purchasing any more candles from Yankee. And I am going to stick to that because there's just no point. There's no point in me buying something that I get no enjoyment out of because the fragrance is so minimal or non-existent. So I'm not committing to not buying from Yankee. I may pick up wax melts, I may pick up melt cups, but I will not be purchasing candles any longer until they make a change. I'm officially doing like a boycott of Yankee candles until they make improvements, because that really opened my eyes burning that black band candle, because I know that they are capable of better than what they're producing. I'm not even going to get started with the quality of the fragrances themselves, the selection. I've talked about that before. That's a whole nother topic. I'm not going to get into that in this video. That needs to improve as well. I am so tired of the conceptuals and the perfumey fragrances and the cologne fragrances. One, maybe two of those types of scents in a collection is fine, but it is every single fragrance that they are putting out. There's black pepper or bergamot or musk, and it turns the candle into a cologne, or it turns the fragrance into a cologne. And I just don't understand why Yankee is refusing to let other notes come out, why they continue to overpower all of their fragrances that way. So long story short, the black band candle, even though there was some tunneling because of probably incorrect burning of the candle in years past, in terms of scent throw, it performed better. This candle, the 2-wick tumbler, obviously no issues whatsoever, with burn, other than a little bit of sooting there at the top. And I really don't have any issues with these 2-wick tumblers, but like I said, that's great if they can get the fragrance, the performance of the fragrance and the throw and the strength. If they can improve that and get that back up to the standards that they used to hold themselves to. So that's pretty much it about Christmas Cookie. The other thing I wanted to touch on, is there a difference between the fragrance back then and now? Have they revamped the fragrance? To me, they pretty much smell almost identical. It's sort of hard because obviously it's not literally a side-by-side comparison, since that was burned on Christmas Eve and I didn't really start burning this candle until maybe a week or two after that. So it's hard for me to do that type of comparison, but from my recent scent memory, I would say that they are pretty identical. I also feel like it's probably not fair to make that comparison simply because it is such an old candle. It's possible that what it smelled like 25 years ago is not what it smells like today, because something's been lost with the fragrance oils over time. So that's Yankee Candle's Christmas Cookie now compared to back then. Now let's compare Christmas Cookie to Kringle Candle's Holiday Cookies. Okay, so the notes that I could find for holiday cookies. Was Kringle Candle founder Mick Kittredge visiting his family at home when he breathed in the sweet smell of Christmas cookies baking in the kitchen as the inspiration for this scent? ? The heavenly scent of holiday cookies is a festive recipe baked with the finest vanilla, powdered sugar, and cream. Hints of nuts and butter make this candle scent blissfully delicious. So I actually don't know if these are Kringle's notes or if these are... Okay, so the site that I'm pulling these notes from is American Heritage. So I don't know if they kind of made up their own scent notes or if they pulled these from Kringle. I'm not sure, because like I said, I can't find the notes on Kringle's website, but that's the best I could find. So I melted 2 cubes of this. I had this in the warmer in my bedroom directly next to me, like on the night table right next to me. Now normally in that hot plate warmer in the bedroom, which is, it's not a huge bedroom, I can get pretty decent performance. I got almost absolutely nothing from this, even worse than the Yankee Candle, believe it or not. It was like, maybe I would think to myself, oh, I think there's like a little hint of something mildly bakery. Is that the holiday cookies, or is that something coming in from down the hall from something else I'm melting, in other parts of the house? That's how light this was. And even as I'm smelling it right now, I'm honestly getting more wax, like more of a waxy scent, than I am getting a fragrance. So this must be some kind of mispour. This must be from a bad batch or something, because I cannot imagine that this is what this is supposed to, this is how light this is supposed to be. Because I'm just, even right here with my nose pressed up against the wax, I'm barely getting anything more than wax. And it's really hard for me to even do a review. It's so bad. It's maybe just a little bit of like I'm getting maybe just a little bit of a bakery note and something sweet. I wouldn't even say that there's like there's a ton of vanilla in here. It's more of just like a sugar and a little bit of bakery. Not great. Not great from what I can smell in terms of the fragrance. It's lacking that butteriness that a sugar cookie should have. And then it's just lacking fragrance. I mean, there's really nothing more that I can say about it. It's that poor. It's just too light for me to even really pick out individual notes. It's just kind of a light, slightly sweet bakery. It's not even, yeah, there's just no richness to this. There's no butteriness. Yeah, just kind of a hint of a sweet bakery, and that's it. So this was super disappointing. If this wasn't so deeply clearanced, like it was, I think $1.25, if I'd paid anything more than like $2 for this, I probably would actually message them to complain, because I'm pretty sure this was like from a bad batch of wax. There's no way that there should be that little fragrance oil in that wax melt. So anyway, that was a disappointment. Definitely won't be repurchasing that, even if it becomes available again next year. I know they have several other cookie scents, so those I might try depending on the reviews that I see on YouTube. At some point, I probably won't purchase those till the holidays next year, but unless they have like a really good sale or something. But anywho, comparison-wise, Yankee Candles is much better. It's just a better sugar cookie scent. It's a richer, more buttery sugar cookie scent. But like I said, in comparison to vendor wax and even like some of the better Homes and Gardens wax, there's definitely better sugar cookie fragrances out there. But Christmas Cookie, I think, it's a classic, and I think it will continue to pull in consumers for that reason. So that's about it. Thank you for watching. If you've burned sugar cookie in the past or recently, or you've burned it back in the day and you've burned it recently, what do you think? Have you noticed a difference? Have you tried Kringle Candles holiday cookies? Did you have a better experience than I did? I mean, please tell me. I'm really curious to know if there's a possibility that I got like just a miss pour, because I just can't imagine that's what it's supposed to be. So I would love to know what your experiences were with it. Otherwise, I appreciate you popping by my channel and watching this video. And I'm sure I'll be back within the next few days with another review. I'm actually fairly behind on reviews. I have several more Kringles that I've melted within the past week or so that I need to do videos on, and I just haven't been feeling the best, so I just haven't felt like making a video, but I will probably catch up on some of those either tonight or tomorrow night.